Welcome to Integrity Academy's short and long-term deposits, class of business, CPD class 5, workshop for 2024. Introduction. I will be your facilitator. My name is Jaco Herbst. I'm a qualified advanced facilitator. I've got more than 10 years experience in facilitation, helping students to understand their work. I'll give you some examples and help you all the way. We are here to help and assist you, so please make use of this. I will share my email address, so should you get stuck anywhere or you've got questions, please feel free to send me an email and I will gladly help you. So our agenda is our vision and our values of Integrity Academy. So let's have a look at them. Our vision is to provide learners with an exceptional quality facilitated and online training in a seamless, easy to access and user-friendly format. Our values: we've got integrity, we are professional, you can really trust us, and we give a good quality of service. So if you've got any questions during this course, there's my email address. You will see it after each part or each section. This is a very long slides, so we broke it up in sections, plus minus 20 slides, so like part 1, part 2, part 3, so that you can break it up in sections as you have got time. There's my email address in the middle, jaco@iilearn.co.za, so please send your questions to me. Our website is www.integrityacademy.co.za. If you want to look at all our other courses, we've got RE1, RE3, RE4, and RE5. We've got various other classes of business, CPDs that you can do online. We've got qualification courses, soft skill courses, how to learn how to use a financial calculator, some Windows, Word and Excel courses, and many, many more. Okay, so now let's look at Unit 1. Class 5, short-term and long-term deposits, Part 1. So the purpose is the principal obligation of a banker or a broker of financial products is to ensure that the products or services being offered suits the needs of the client. People, this is very important. You will see constantly during all the slides, you must always fulfill this needs of the client. It's no point you giving the client advice on long-term insurance if they want short-term insurance for their vehicle or their house, or vice versa. They want a long-term policy and you come there try to sell them a short-term. That's not their needs. You must take care and advise and look after the needs of the client. It means, the second bullet, that financial service providers, very important, must know their client's financial situation. What can they afford? 500 Rand a month, 750, 1,000. No point in you want to try and sell them 2,000 Rand a month, but they can only afford 500. No. So know your client's financial situation. And also understand their financial investment experience and goals. Do they have any financial experience? Yes. What experience? No. Okay, then you know. And what is their goals? What do they want at the end of the day? Ensuring product suitability means having a discussion. You must discuss this with your clients and gathering pertinent information. Oh, sorry for that line. I'm not the best artist in the world. So gathering pertinent information that will provide the critical facts required to offer the client a choice from a range of possible products. So you can give them a range of possible products, product A, B, C, and D, or maybe E as well. And then you take it from there. And the services that meet, you see, once again, their individual needs. The responsibility rests with the financial service provider to ensure that the product is an appropriate One, for the client, giving the client's financial situation, financial investment knowledge or experience and investment goals. You must always put the client first. It is important to note that the person undertaking the needs analysis must, also very important, must meet all the appropriate phase requirements, have the appropriate expertise to perform the task, be qualified in terms of the product category. So you cannot be qualified in long-term insurance, but now you think because you qualified the long-term insurance, you can sell short-term or health. No, you must be qualified in those products that you're going to sell. You see, in terms of the product category as well, be adequately trained and have sufficient knowledge and understanding of the product. You must know what you're going to sell and advise the client, which might possible suit their needs between product A, B, C, and D. The world of banking is highly competitive, and banks offer very similar products and services, as we all know. The focus of these financial service providers is to make a profit, and they do this primarily by obtaining funds from depositors and providing loans to borrowers. It means that to attract profitable banks have to offer their clients products and services that match their specific needs. You see, once again, the banks also, they want to match the client's specific needs. Generally, business starts by identifying their target market and establishing the needs of their potential clients. Once one complete this crucial step, they will focus on developing a range of products and services that will appeal to their specific target to match their clients' needs, and doing so increase their clients' base and profits of the business. We all want to make profit. The banks want to make profit, otherwise how can they pay all the expenses, how will they exist? Mean you want to make a profit, you by selling your products commission-wise. Everybody needs to make money to survive, to pay all their monthly debts, and to have some money for bread, jam, and some butter at the end of the month. So the target market of banks is extensive and includes some of the following categories: working individuals in various income earning brackets, students, individuals within various age groups and with varying marital status, professionals such as doctors and lawyers and engineers, sole proprietors, one-man shows, small and medium businesses, and medium and large corporate business. Banks identify their target market by establishing the needs and wants of individuals or business who might make use of existing products and services. Banks also design and develop new products and services that should appeal to the identified target market from the information that they have gathered. In this way, the bank maintains existing clients and creates the potential to gain new clients that are interested in the products and services on offer. So if you've got nice new products, you advertise, you put them out there, you market them, then you can potentially get new clients which might move their bank accounts from where they are to your bank, and you're getting more business. Alright, so let's look at 1.1 product categories. And then we look at 1.1.1 demand deposits. 111. So what is a demand deposit? A demand deposit account is a check account. Alright. So demand deposit is a check account or a savings account or a call account or any other type of account at a building institution that allows money to be deposited and withdrawn on, and that's the key word, on demand by the account holder. So whenever they want to deposit on demand, they want to do it now. They want to deposit now, or they want to withdraw now. That's their demand. They must be able to do that. So depending on the type of account, the bank may charge a service fee, while on other accounts, the bank may pay interest on the funds that have been deposited into the account. So that it depends on between bank and product and account, etc. Savings and investments. After one deduct all expenses, clients would need to have some money left over from their income to save or invest. So they receive the income or their commission, they deduct all expenses, house, car, petrol, cell phone, food, groceries, what, insurance, and the what is left is their income, which they can save some of that if you earn enough. In the banking industry, one typically understands the term savings and investments by relating them to the specific account on offer. Technically, setting money aside for emergency means achieving short-term saving goals. Typically, savings of this nature would have to be immediately available to the client, and banks have products that suit this type of need. Saving accounts provide a safe place when money is not used to deposit money, and these accounts also provide interest earnings, which means that the money can grow. So therefore, banks accounts such as savings, call, money market transaction accounts, and even short-term notice deposits and fixed deposit accounts could be termed savings accounts. When you look at 1.13 investments, investing means to deposit money to make grow over time earnings period. So you invest money, you deposit it, you leave it, and you want it to grow, to get some interest, to earn some interest on that money. So in other words, creating more money over a more extended period. So the longer you leave it in investment, the more money you will make on that, the more it will grow. Investing forms part of a long-term approach and involves more substantial sums of money than savings, as well as attracting higher interest. The main difference in a bank context is that there are various limitations regarding balances and deposit amounts, access restrictions, and penalty fees. 1.1 Product categories. 1.1.4 The difference between savings and investments. The difference between saving and investment lies in the aim and the period. So what is your aim? In other words, what is your goal with that saving or investment, and what is the period you want to save or you want to invest? So if you look at savings are meant to be liquid, and liquid means easy to convert into cash. And the client should have the ability to withdraw this money immediately or within a short notice period. The returns on savings are usually quite small, so you don't get high interest rates or high returns. On the other hand, investments is less liquid. It means not easy to convert into cash, but saying that, depending on the type of investment. Some investment, sorry for my beautiful artwork there, you must do this freehand. Some investments will be much easier to convert into cash and others not. But they are usually have a more extended period. In other words, sorry for that artwork again, you have to depart with your money for a longer period of time. And therefore, because you invest money on a longer term, investments accounts offer higher interest rates. So the longer your money is invested, the higher interest rates you get, the higher is the growth. The shorter you invest, the lower is your interest rate, the smaller is your growth. So in the banking context, standard investments accounts are considered low risk because when you put your money in the bank account, it's very low risk as the capital amount is deposited is not at risk at all compared to other types of investments such as investing in the stock market. The stock market very, very high interest risk rates, but also high risk, or investing in property. Property overall is good investments, but it also depends where the property is, the area, etc. But overall, property is good investment. It's just a longer investment as well. You cannot, if you want to sell your property today to have money tomorrow, I guarantee you will not have received the money tomorrow. It must go through registrations and attorneys and banks and all these kind of things. So yes. So 1.2 types of accounts that attract bank depositors. There are many banking products and services that can be offered to suit, you see, once again, very important, suit the financial needs of a wide range of banking clients. It is essential to be aware of the available products, both in the bank as well as in the marketplace, to accommodate, once again, the different types of needs that clients would have. So different clients have different needs, and you must try to comply and satisfy their needs. So provided in the table below is a brief description of some of the general bank account products available. So if you look at a check account, let me make like check account. So check accounts are also sometimes referred to as transactional account. So a transactional account and a check account is the same thing. Transaction accounts are a convenient means for business and personal clients to deposit and withdraw money and pay third parties as well, at the same time providing them with a handy record of transactions made during each month. So you can put in money, you can draw, you can pay third parties, etc. And you can have a nice track record with your bank statements you receive each month. These accounts are not meant, so they are not meant for earning interest or for the intention of saving. So you will not get very high interest, and they're not there for savings as well. A check account is an ideal account for a client who earns a regular monthly income, salary or commission, and makes regular account payments, such as rent or bond or a telephone or car repayments. The account provides the client with various transaction methods, such as the utilization of the bank's branch network, a check or a debit card, an ATM, online banking, or telephone and cell phone banking. If the client qualifies, he or she can also apply for an overdraft facility. That will be allowed on a check account or a transaction account. Very important, people. This one here, the red bullet. Checks and checkbooks ceased to exist and be used from 1 January 2021. So please don't anybody give you a check, because it will be null and void. Doesn't matter if they stands on 20 million rand, because you can take a lighter and light it. The banks won't accept it, they won't process it. That check is nothing, worth nothing. Last bullet, the client also has the option to receive monthly statements that will help him or her to keep track of and manage his or her finances. So here I gave you, for all the younger people, I gave you some examples of checks, those that you don't know how checks look, and checkbooks. So here, this is a checkbook, and there in the middle, that piece of paper is perforated, so you can separate the two. after you've written the check. Okay, so what basically happens, I want to buy something from you, so here on top I'll write the date. The date should be the 42nd of April in the year 2000. I know there's not 42 days in April, I'm just joking here. An example. So who must I pay? Okay, I want to pay Mr. Joe Soap. Joe Soap. The amount of, then you write here, 100 rand, and then you put on a loan. Now nobody can write stuff afterwards, because if you just put 100 rand, what they used to do is, and then I'll write, add another 2,000. But now if 100 rand alone, nothing can happen. And then here in this block, you will put there 100 rand, and you will sign it here at the bottom. And then you go, you take that page out and you give it to the person. There's your check. Thank you very much. But if you remember, checkbook had 40 pages and a business checkbook had 100 pages. Now you just tore out the checks. Now you don't know how many checks did you write out, how much money do you have left in the bank. In those days, it wasn't easy to check your bank accounts like today. You had to go into the bank and find out, or you had to keep track record at your house. So this is where this part comes in. This part stays in the book, because here you make all your notes of all the checks you've written out. So I will write here the date I've written out the check on the 42nd of April 2000. I've written it to Joe Soap for an amount of 100 rand. He was banking at ABC Bank. What did I buy? You can write there, I bought a bicycle. And you can make all other notes, whatever you want. So at the end of the day, if you've written 40 checks out, you can just look at all these blue pages that's behind in the checkbook, and then you can see, I bought this from that guy on that day, for that amount for this item. So yeah, that is how you keep a record. If you look on the next one, you see, here's all those blue pages, the ones that you make your notes on. This guy is busy writing a check, but he's going to make his notes there, the date, the amount, for who it was, what it was, and then maybe he'll put in there 100 rand, etc. You see on this other ones, here they stand up, and as you can see, if you look clearly, you can see there's stuff written that looks like the 15th of something. So all that you do there is he turns the pages back, and then you can see what you've written, because all the info is on the pages. If you just turn them, flip them back, then you can see what's written there. This is an example of a checkbook of Barclays in London. What the people did, so ignore this piece, because this was just people, if you put in pictures of checks, people used to copy them and write them out, and did some forgery. But this is a typical example of a Barclays check. Here we've got the check of Standard Bank of South Africa Limited, Yellow Street. Now how it will typically work is I will write there, okay, I'm going to write out the check on the 42nd of the 4th, 1999. I want to pay Mr. The sum of let's say 100 rand, and you always put on a loan so they cannot write something behind it, and I will put there 100 rand. And to whom must it paid out? It must be paid out to Mr. Joe Soap. and then I will sign for it. Each bank had their own checkbooks and they made it differently. Some will have on top who you must pay, some like Standard Bank at the bottom on these checks. Here's an FNB check from example of FNB. You see they've got on top now who to pay, Joe Soap, and here you put the amount of 100 rand alone, and there they've got the date on top, and then you should just sign here, whatever. This check is cancelled. There was another, you can cancel checks if you pay somebody and you're not happy with the service, you can ask the bank to cancel the checks. And the bank just stamp it and then they cancel it. This check was dishonored, so it means I cannot see the amount say properly, but let's say it was 100 of their currency. So you want to buy something from me, maybe the RE5 course or a qualification course, you pay me 100 rand. Let's say that was the rand. There's 100 rand only. Well, sorry, rupees. Okay, rupees. But let's keep it rand. Because in South Africa we don't use rupees, we use rands. Just for example. Now you give me the check, I give you the RE course or the qualification course, the study guide, off you go. Now I take the check, I put it in my bank account. My bank goes to your bank, let's say in this case the DFFC bank, and my bank tells your bank, okay, this is a check for 100 rand. Please give us the money that we deposit in our client's account. Here's the check as proof that your client has written the promise to pay. Now normally that bank will then check, okay, there's 100 rand. They will transfer the 100 rand to my bank, which will put it in my account. They will take the check and then take the 100 rand out of your bank account. But because this check is now dishonored, that is a problem. It means that when they wanted to take the 100 rand out of your account, there was not 100 rand. Maybe there was 99 rand and 99 cents or 10 cents or 1 rand, but there was not 100 rand. So they just told my bank, sorry, we cannot give you the 100 rand because the person who written the check does not have 100 rand in their account. So here's your check back, and they will stamp it dishonored as a red stamp, and they'll give it to my bank. My bank will then post that to my postal address, and when I open my post, I will get this check in an envelope from my bank. Check has been dishonored. It means that client bought something from me, they've taken it, but they haven't paid for it because the check came back. In other words, what we also talked about is the check bounced. So then I know, okay, you are gone with the stuff you bought from me, the check bounced, it was dishonored by your bank. So I can phone you and say, listen, I've got a problem, I've got your check, it came back, it bounced, the bank dishonored it. So in other words, I didn't get my money, please bring my money or bring my stuff back, either or. But this is a dishonored check. All right. So I hope everybody, all the new people understand this. This is how checks looks, checkbooks, and how they work in short. All right. If you want to have more knowledge, speak to the older people or maybe Google it or YouTube it. All right. So let's carry on. Okay, so let's look at a transmission account. What can you tell me about a transmission account? Can you still remember? A transmission account are similar, or transmission accounts are similar to check accounts. A transmission account has lower transactional costs than a check account. Remember, a transmission account is also a check account or part of similar, but it does not offer access to overdraft facilities as a real check account does. They aimed at clients who need to transact regularly, deposit their wages, and make monthly payments as well as to save. Small businesses also can opt for other transactional accounts, especially where they do not need to access credit or overdraft facilities. And then when you look at the savings account, this word savings says it all. It's an account where I want to save. So you see the first bullet? These types of accounts are mainly used for saving. It is simple and easy to manage and suits the needs of people who do not wish to operate a check or a transmission account. The charges can be relatively high, especially on a book-based savings account. A lot of people don't want cards. They said that if they get mugged and the robber put them at the ATM, they can force him to put their card in and draw money. But if they've got a book, the robber can do nothing. They can only go into the bank on a business day, and the robber will not go with them with a gun in the bank. So they will rather look for somebody with a card. But now the problem is that person standing in the queue with that book, and the teller must help the person. The tellers in the bank don't work for free. They want mullah. They want the salary. The bank must pay that salary. It costs the bank money. That is why the charges are higher, so they can get money to pay the tellers their salaries. Money can be placed in an account or withdrawn at any time, yes, because savings account, you get a card, you can go to an ATM any time of day or night, draw money or deposit money. A low interest rate is offered on these accounts, and the amount of interest that is earned depends on the balance in the account. So the more money is in the account, the more interest you get. The less money is in the account, the less interest you get. Savings interest rates are usually tiered, which means the higher the balance, the higher the rate of interest. As what I just said now, savings accounts are designed to allow the client's money to grow, so you can save and allow your money to grow. As with a check account, you don't get interest on positive balances. Savings accounts are mostly card-based, although there are still book-based accounts as well. So also, savings account, people also got the book. Some people prefer that. Funds can be accessed to the bank's branch network, ATMs, and in certain cases, online, telephone, or cell phone banking options. The rate of interest varies according to the savings option and the amount of money in the bank account. Once again, the more money, the better interest you get. Then when we look at the call deposit, it is readily available money that can be accessed on demand. Different call deposits have different restrictions, usually on minimum balances or minimum transaction amounts. The purpose of a call deposit is to earn a higher rate of interest than in a savings account. So you want higher rate of interest than what you'll get in a savings account. Therefore, you open a call deposit. The interest earned will be lower than other fixed interest investments. So your interest will be lower than other fixed interest investment accounts due to the easily accessibility of the fund. So it will be higher than savings accounts, but it will be lower than other fixed interests. So like in the middle. Individuals or businesses can open a call account. Then when we look at money market deposit accounts, it is an account that provides the client with a combination of transaction and investing. So this is a combination account, a combination of a transaction account and investing, a combo account. Let's make there a note, a combo account. This account provides clients with easy access to their funds, simultaneously encouraging clients to invest more substantial sums. As the higher the balance in the account, the higher the rate of interest earned. So yes, as well. So the more money is in the account, the higher the balance, the higher the interest rate of interest earned will be. No notice period is required for withdrawals. This option is suited to individuals, businesses, and other organizations. There are restrictions on this type of account, such as maintaining a minimum balance, for example, 20,000 Rand, but this can differ from bank to bank. So one bank will tell you minimum is 20,000, another one will say minimum is 15 or 10 or 5, whatever. And the interest is calculated on a daily basis. So interest will be calculated on a daily basis and will be capitalized monthly. In other words, they will calculate it on a daily basis and they will add it on a monthly basis. Then you look at the notice deposit. Now this one notice says it all. I must give notice. So an agreed period of notice need to be given to the bank before the money in the account can be accessed. It is usually 32-day period. So 32 days on a 32-day account, 60 days on a 60-day account, 88 days on an 88-day account, etc. The rate available will be higher than the call rate as funds are tied up for an extended period. So there will be an agreed period that you put the money and leave it in that account, let's say for 32 days. So you cannot access that money in 32 days. So you will get higher interest rates. But a notice deposit accounts earn a higher rate of interest, but have several other restrictions. Besides the agreed notice period, the minimum amount needed to open an account is higher than an ordinary savings account, and interest rates may fluctuate periodically. You will see later on that you can give notice, but yeah, then you pay penalties, but we'll get to that later. Fixed deposit. And once again, that word fixed says it all. Everything is fixed. This type of account offers a fixed interest rate over a fixed period. Sorry for my beautiful artwork there again. For example, the period is fixed for 12 months or for 24 months. The money must remain in the account for that fixed specified period. It protects the investor from the temptation of drawing the money and is an excellent form of investing for a long-term goal. You and me, we are our own worst enemies. If you've got money in the account, ooh, we must spend it. We must spend it. No, put it in a fixed deposit account. It protects you, the investor, from the temptation of drawing your money, especially if you invest it for a long-term goal, for like a deposit on a car, or if you want to buy a car and you want to save, or for a deposit on a house or an overseas holiday, or whatever the reason might be. Maybe it's for a child's education as well. So then the bank protects you against yourself from not drawing that money. And then we look at unit trust. Unit trust is an investment that pools the money of many investors, intending to provide smaller investors with a means of gaining access to equities, bonds, cash with less money and less risky basis. So, for instance, you need to put down 100,000 Rand to invest in a special equity or bonds or whatever. But now you and me don't have 100,000 rand just like that to invest. But maybe we've got 10 or 5 or 1,000. So we buy unit trusts for a small amount. So we are a part of the small investors. And then the bigger investors, you see, many like the investment companies, they take all our small investors' money, all the 1,000 rands, and they add them up. And then they said, okay, we can buy 100,000. We've got 100,000. So they take all that money from me, from you, from all the different people. See, all that is money from different people. And if you add them all up, it's 100,000. So, okay, now we've got 100,000, we can invest. So they basically help us to invest. They pool all our money together. So unit trusts are suitable for investors who may not have the time or the money. We don't have that 100,000 rand or the expertise to make investments ourselves. That is why we buy the unit trust, which is a pool of money, and the big investors. There's many of them. They use the small investors' money, the money we bought the unit trust, to make up that 100,000 rand to be able to invest it. And then they can split it up back to us again. All right, that's a unit trust. So calculate the interest on a deposit. Okay, so we're going to look at this now. Calculate the interest on a deposit. That's KO1, knowledge outcome 1. Introduction. Interest is paid to a client by a bank for money held in the form of a deposit, savings, and investment accounts. So deposit, savings, and investment accounts. The bank usually pay interest monthly. However, some products offer the client the choice to pay interest monthly, quarterly, in other words, every 3 months, half yearly, in other words, every 6 months, that is every 3 months, quarterly, that is every 6 months, annually is once a year, or like every 12 months, or on maturity. Maturity might be depending on the investment or deposit or the account, after 2 years, or maybe after 5 years, depending what you decided on or what you took. Okay. There are many product options available to investors, and banks must compete to obtain investors' funds by offering a certain amount of interest in return to their deposit. That's why the banks will fight. They want your money. Because in your money, they pay you a smaller percentage of interest. They loan it to other people. They charge a higher percentage of interest. They get that interest, they pay your interest, and they've got some left, and that's the money they make. So now the one bank might offer you, no, bring your money, deposit with us, we'll give you 5%. Then another bank says, no, we'll give you 5.225. Now other ones say, we'll give you 5.5. That is how they fight amongst each other. They want the money. Interest is a fee, is also a fee that is paid to the lender. Like me and you are the lenders. Because my money I lend to my bank, that's why to my account. They can use my money to lend out to other people again. Or money that or interest is a fee paid by the borrower. You and me who borrow money from the bank, personal loan, credit card, what finance on a vehicle or a house, then we must pay interest as well for a right to use the money. So we must pay interest for the right to use money as well. We use the bank's money which they supply to us, and because we use it, that we must pay interest. Interest is paid by clients to the bank when the client avails of an overdraft facility or borrows money in the form of a loan account. The interest percentage earned or paid per year is called the interest rate. So basically how it works is Yaku borrows money from the bank and I must pay them let's say 12% interest. The bank got the money from the depositor, but the bank only pays the depositor 6% interest on the money that's in the account. In other words, the bank makes 6% profit interest. That is one way they also make their money. Using your money to borrow to pay you 6%, they borrow it to me, I must pay 12%, and then after they paid your 6% back, they've made 6% profit. Okay, so in the marketplace, one can buy a car at the specified price, and the next year buy the same car with enhanced features at the higher price. We all know that every year, or basically every year, you get new models, new features, but new prices. Okay, so that's enhanced features at higher prices. They got better technology, but the price is also up. Banks transact in money, and money cannot be enhanced in the same way a car can. Therefore, banks use interest rates as a pricing mechanism for money. Sorry. The bank will have one scale for prices for money invested, depending on the amount and the period, and one scale for lending. So the amount a borrower will have to pay for the use of the money provided by the bank. One can define interest. What is interest? Interest is the price of money. If I want to borrow money from the bank, I'm going to pay a price for it. That is called interest. Okay, so 1.3.1. How do banks determine the level of interest rates or the price of funds? The nominal or market interest rate is determined by the supply of and the demand for funds. These rates can be defined as the published or stated rates at any given point in time. So the supply and demand for funds. The supply of funds is determined by the savings or investment behavior of people in general. People who are prepared to consume less and prefer accumulating wealth will set aside a higher amount of their disposable income for future use, with the emphasis on growing these funds to generate further wealth, opposed to people who have a poor savings ethic and prefer to spend their money now. The demand for funds depends on the potential possibilities that exist for using borrowed funds resourcefully and profitably. The demand for funds becomes more significant if the funds are used profitably. The price of goods and services are determined by demand and supply. The prices of funds, in other words, the general level of interest rates, are determined by the demand and supply. So, if there's an increase in demand for funds and or the money supply declines, the price of funds will rise. In other words, the interest rate will increase. If there's a decline in the demand for funds or an increase in the money supply, interest rates will decrease. If there are any anticipated changes in the interest rate level, this will also affect the supply and demand of funds. Let me use another example. Let's take the word funds out and we say apples. And here as well, apples. So if you are an apple salesperson and you charge R1 an apple, so if the increase in demand for apples, so there's an increase for apples, you only got 100 apples. You sell at 1 rand apple, but now suddenly you've got 200 people who wants apples. So now you see that there was an increase in demand for your apples. Double the amount of people wanted your apples. If you sold them for 1 rand 50, or even if you sold them for 2 rand, you would have made more money. You see, on the other hand, apples supply declines. So your apple supply declines. So you've got 100 apples, but you've got 200 people who want them. So your supply, you cannot supply the people. You've got 100 apples, but there's 200 buyers. So your supply, your apple supply declined. You don't have enough. So then the price of that apples will rise. I will make it now 150 or 2 rand. Then I'll make more money. And therefore, if the price rise, not rise like you eat, if the price rise, climb, go up, then the interest rates increase as well. Does it make sense to you? So now the moment there's an increase in demand, interest rates also increase. But if there's a decline in the demand or increase in the money supply, interest rates will also decrease. All right. If there are any anticipated changes in the interest rate level, this will also affect the supply and demands of funds. So does this make sense? If you forget, just use this example of apples. I've got 100 apples, but I've got 200 buyers. So the demand for my apples increase. So therefore, I'm gonna my price for my apples will also rise, and if I rise my price, interest rates increase. Okay. Future expectations of what the interest rate will do also play a significant role in determining the rates offered to borrowers and investors. The uncertainty about the price of funds or interest rates plays a role in the process of determining interest rates offered to clients. Now, if you look at some of the factors that are likely to have an impact on the level of interest rates, are the following: period of time. The longer the loan, the term of the loan, as we said before, can you complete my sentence? The longer the term of the loan, the higher the uncertainty that circumstances may change. Therefore, the higher the compensation demanded by the lenders of the funds. In case of investments, the longer the term, the higher the demanded rate of return. Because it's a higher uncertainty of what's going to happen. Is the market's going to go down and crash? Is it going to up? You don't know. You take a higher risk. You want higher returns. The ability to repay. The lender needs to be satisfied that there is a reasonable probability that they will get their money back. The higher the risk of default by the user or the lower his or her credit rating, the higher the interest rate asked by the supplier of the funds. In the case of an investment, the higher the risk, the higher the return demanded. So usually the banks will, for professional people that's older, that's got a good track record, they will give them prime less 1 or prime less 2 because they've got the track record, they are good payers. They pay their bonds or their loans every month strictly as and how the bonds, the banks want it, and the banks know they are a low risk to default. Younger people who just finished school or university, It just started to work. They want to borrow money to buy a car or whatever. The bank says, don't have a track record. We don't know if this person is going to default. It's a risk. They give them prime +1 or +2 or whatever. So the bank still take a risk on them. So the bank must look over a period of time. Inflation. The higher level of inflation, once again, the higher the level of inflation, the higher the interest rate demanded by the investors to compensate them for the declining value of their funds. Therefore, higher expected inflation will bring higher interest rates. The South African Reserve Bank, in other words, the bank, plays a vital role in determining the level of short-term interest rates, as these rates are closely related to the rates at which the bank lends money to private sector banks. And that is the end of this part. If you've got any questions, there's my email address. Please feel free to send me an email and I will gladly answer your questions. See you in the next part. Goodbye.